please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Well, just put together today's good performance of around 90 points approximately, and the Nifty has bounced back. So for the first half of this year, well, the Nifty has put on roughly around 150 points. Till the start of today's trading session, it was one of the worst starts to the year because, in fact, it was up only around 50 points for the year. So it was almost the worst start in the last 5 years odd. But remember, there were plenty of challenges. Domestic front, you had LTCG that was introduced. Then you have the Nirav Modi saga that played out. And suddenly, in the last couple of weeks, we've had these auditors resigning, as well as the ASM measures that have soured sentiment, particularly in the mid-cap space. The FIs last year at the halfway mark, they had pumped in nearly around $3 billion. This time around, at the halfway mark, they have sold nearly around $4 billion, telling you that the FI selling is something that's really hurt the bulls. Well, global challenges as well. The Fed rate hikes have been coming about. The dollar has shown some strength. Money moving towards developed economies. And Trump's tariff war cries, that's something as well that has hurt sentiment. Remember, the rupee has breached even the 69 mark. Now, that's the lowest levels we have seen in the recent past. And the biggest worry has been that crude oil prices continue to hold above that $75 on a per barrel basis. Well, the total market capitalization that's been lost on the BSE listed stocks is nearly around 9 lakh crores odd. But we're talking about India. Let's compare us with the rest of the globe. Well, in terms of the US markets, are more or less flattish with a bit of a negative bias on the Dow, while the Nasdaq has been a relative outperformer, maybe because of those FANG stocks out there. While the European markets as well, more or less flattish is what we have seen. Some of those indices have got hit, like the DAX. That's down nearly around 5%. But when you're talking about India, you want to compare us with the emerging markets. And let's see how that really stacks up. So in the local currency, if we look at it, India is a relative outperformer. In fact, we're up close to around 1.5% odd. But if you compare us in dollar terms, that's what the FIs look at, right? So the Brazilian index in dollar terms is down 20%. Keep in mind, the local currency, that's the Brazilian real, has seen some kind of depreciation. So that's what's hurt them. And even if you take a look at the other couple of markets as well, the losses are far more because we have seen strength on the US dollar. And that's why the Nifty as well, in dollar terms, is lower. Plenty of sectors that have been losing out. You have the PSU banking space that have got hit, the realty, the metal index. They are part of the losers. But there have been as well a few gainers. And the star performer really in the last year has been the IT space, the tech space. Just take a look at that. Big gains is what we have seen. A relative underperformer really has been Wipro. That, in fact, is sitting with a bit of a cut in this year. That's the first half of this year. But otherwise, ID stocks, they've done quite well. Let's run you through a few of those gainers then that have done pretty well in this year. You have some of those broader market mid-cap IT stocks as well that have given you returns between 30 to around 60%. NIT Technologies in there with a gain of nearly around 60% approximately. But from the Nifty pack itself, besides the ID stocks, quite a few of those stocks have done well. So you have Asian Paints, your big boy HDFC, and even Kotak Mahindra Bank. That's given you returns in excess of around 30%. But there have been some stocks as well that have been relative underperformers. Tata Motors, that's lost its way. 35% of the market cap has got eroded. A couple of those metal stocks as well, like a Vedanta, has lost nearly around 30%. And UPL, suddenly that stock finds itself at a 52-week low in the last couple of days. But let's shift focus then to the broader markets. There have been plenty of gainers. So Jubilant FoodWorks valuation, well, that was a concern, but the stock has done very well this year. It's up more than 50%. Britannia as well is up nearly around 30%. And JSW Steel, that one, while other stocks were seeing some selling, that's sitting with a gain of nearly around 20% approximately. Well, if you got it wrong, then you got absolutely hit. PC Jewelers, HCC, irrespective of what the move is today, PNB, all of them down between 50 to around 70%. But if you really got it wrong, then you got hit very hard. The likes of Manpasand, Gitanjali Gems, you have Karangi, all of them have seen a sharp knock. Before we wind this down then, the first half of the year, well, it's not been that great. We're up 150 points approximately. More pain been seeing in the mid-cap stocks. But traditionally, the second half of the year has been a tad bit weaker than the first half of the year. 2014, for example, we put on 600 points in the second half of the year. The first half of the year, we were at around 1,300 points. And in fact, other details as well suggest that the second half of the year is a tad bit weaker than the first half. This time, let's see what happens. We're up 150 points till now. Back to you.